So in my group, Build Lab, where we help people basically create an online business and sell a digital program and create a paid subscription program, I'm always talking about content marketing versus phishing. And so I just had these pictures pulled up and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a piece of content over this and see if it doesn't just give people a better idea of how we're making customers come to us using just organic content and how to simplify the thoughts around it, because sometimes you can complicate things and hear so many things from so many different directions. Sometimes you need like a palate eraser. You know how you sniff coffee when you go like get cologne or something. So hopefully this can be the coffee beans to your confusion with content marketing, but it's so much like phishing, right? And what is it? So I think about content marketing. It's like, just replace the word marketing with educating, right? And then just think about it like you're just going to let your people who have the problem that we can solve. So these would be your potential customers. They have this problem that you can solve. We're just letting them know like how we can help them. We're just helping them understand more about what they're going through and how we understand their current situation and how they can get the solution. That's it. That's really what we're doing. And we're helping them do this while we're actually helping them do this. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird, but we're attracting them, not convincing. Just like when you go fishing, the fish are already there. They're already hungry. And you don't have to convince them to eat or anything like that. You just need to present them with what it is that they're looking for, and they'll come to you if they're the right thing, right? So it's all about them when you go out there. It's about, if you want to catch the fish or the customer, you don't go out there thinking about yourself. You just go out there thinking about them and everything that they would want to come get. And if you're just sharing with people and helping your people solve their problems, it's so interesting, like how actual simple it is, but we complicate it. And it's namely because we're getting distracted so much by all these things out there. And I get it, because boy, I get it too. And you have to really guard yourself, So how do you improve your odds with this thing? Well, just like fishing, right? The more you know about them, the easier it is to help them. So like, what fish are you going after? Who's your ideal customer? How can you learn everything about them? I like going to YouTube, act like I'm them looking for something, and I go searching videos. Then I'll go down in the comments and look for all the questions that people still have. And by reading everybody's thoughts and questions and things like that, I can learn so much about them so that I can repeat some of the things back to them so that they go, man, there's no way he could know that unless he understood me. That's part of helping them feel understood. That's really where you start earning their trust. When you can explain somebody's problem to them and articulate it to them with the emotion that they're feeling back to them. When you can do that, it's so interesting. You might be trying to figure out content and you're like stuck each day. What do I create today? And then you go down these roads. Well, I'm not that creative. And then it doesn't come to you right away. So you're like, man, what am I going to do? I know I got to get something out there. Well, if you start just really paying attention to your fish, it'll tell you everything that you need to know about what you need to create to attract them. If you go to the lake and you look around and you think, well, where are they? Where are my people that have the problem that I can solve? Like, where is the fish at? If you're trying to catch catfish, you can't go out in the ocean because that's not where they're at. You have to go where the fish is actually at. And then you need to pay attention to it and you need to see how it starts acting. What are they looking for? Like, what's the fish looking for and why is it looking for it? Like, obviously it's hungry. That's the fish's problem. But what's your fish's problem? What's the real problem they're dealing with? For mine, a lot of them, they want to get better at producing content and driving traffic to their funnels. So I have to share with them, just like I'm sharing with you right now, things that help simplify how we do that. And the more I can help them ahead of time, the more they'll reciprocate in the ways of coming and joining the program. They'll feel better about it because I'm talking directly to them. And it's just the same way, like if you find out what your fish wants to eat and why it wants to eat it, you're so much better to catch them because you can start putting out the right things that are going to pull them in. And when do they need it? A lot of times you can go out and have the perfect bait, the perfect fishing setup, everything. But if you go to the lake at the wrong time when the fish isn't hungry, then you're not going to do too well, no matter what you do. But if you go out there when they're ready and they're hungry, or when they're at the right place in the buyer's journey, maybe they're just learning about you, they're aware, they're not really ready to buy yet, they're learning. And then they go to this engagement phase where they're like really kind of testing the waters. They're like kind of looking at the bait a little bit. In the awareness phase, they're barely seeing like anything, right? That spinner bait flashing through the water, they're barely seeing it. And they're like, whoa, what was that? And then you cast again. And they're like, whoa. And then they start taking a look at it. Maybe they kind of go for it a little bit. It's kind of the same way here. But if you find them when they're right there at that perfect time, when they've been watching, they're educated about that thing, okay? But you have to keep casting, and you have to keep taking them closer. You got to get them closer to it. That's why you keep creating content, not just to create content, which I'm going to give you a helpful daily pattern that we use to help you do better fishing for your customers here in just a minute. It's a simple thing, but you can do it, okay? I'm doing it to you right now. You're still watching this, right? You're learning, right? You probably are somebody that wants to market their business using content, and you're thinking, wow, this could maybe help me. Maybe this is going to make some sense. It'll click. Maybe you're at a certain place too, right? And then what happens if they don't get it fixed? Well, the fish will die. This is really important to them that they don't. So they are really seeking that. And the way we think about it is like, how do they act? Like, what happens if they do? What can you explain to them? I mean, I can share with you right now. If you're trying to grow your business and you're just using advertising only in the sense of paid ads, you'll hit a ceiling at a certain point, and maybe you're okay with what you're getting back where you're at with spending. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I understand that. We were spending $1,000, $2,000 a day, and I don't mind not spending that now. But when we were spending it, we were doing over $100,000 a month. But then I was also paying in 30 to 50. Right now, we can do the same thing without having to spend that money because we are paying attention to content, because it can compound. But it won't work unless you understand how they act. Like, what happens if they don't get it fixed? If you don't get traffic to your funnel and you don't get traffic to your business, you don't help people. And if you don't help people, then you don't make money, since that's the cause of money. So we have to really understand how they act and what if they don't get it fixed. And we need to present that to them and share that with them. Okay? And then, are you creating daily content to help them learn how you help them solve their problem? You got to create it daily, just like you wouldn't catch a fish unless you're out there casting. I was with a friend of mine. He came into town, and we were fishing, and it was like kind of crappy out. And he's standing there. We just been casting the whole time. I was pretty much like, well, let's just pack it up and head out. And it's funny. That's actually when I caught this fish. It was right at the end, and I just kept casting. And right at the end, I pulled this like pretty good sized fish out, as you can see there. But the thing was, if I wouldn't have been out there casting, I'd have never caught that thing. There's just no way. It wouldn't have found me. It wouldn't have came to me and been like, hey, can you unhook your lure from your fishing pole so I can bite into her? Like that's not going to happen. So you have to be casting. Like, are you putting something out each day? And it's kind of like running. If you haven't been running for a while or whatever, you don't just get out there and run 10 miles. You work at it. Maybe you go half a mile, then pretty soon you're up to a mile. Then you're kind of keeping the mile going, and then you kind of maybe creep up to more 2 mile, and it's a progression thing. Same here. Maybe can we worry about just getting one piece of content out a day? And then if you can do that, maybe another piece, which I'll show you a little pattern we use that really has been so powerful. I mean, daily sales coming in from content, generating $200, $300, $500 worth of leads per day without having to spend that money. That's pretty cool. And you can do this. Listen, you can do this. I mean, what am I doing? Nothing hard about this, right? Seriously, like, what am I doing here? And then how can you relate to them? What bait are you going to use? I can't go out there with bass bait trying to catch a catfish. It's just not going to work. You got to have the right bait for the right fish. So what's that? Well, for me, it's creating videos like this. I know that you're wanting to get more traffic to your website, and you want to use, the most efficient means possible. And what's nice about content, when you put it out there, it can be shared. Unlike ads, they can be shared, but if you stop paying for them, they go away. Now, I'm not against ads, Remember, I spent thousands of dollars a day on ads. I know how nice they can be. It's really having a concert and a combination of these things working together, which I cover in my Build Lab program. You can learn about it in the description or whatever. But, I have a whole pillar where I actually show them how to create content like this, the tools that I use, and all of those things. And what's cool about that is once you have that, it starts to get easier. And then all of a sudden, you're creating this content that can be shared. I had a guy get started the other day. He's like, man, I seen one of your videos and it made me want to get started. Is the one I did on my YouTube channel about VSL, how to create a VSL video sales letter. And he's like, man, I watched that. I put that out 8 months ago. And, I get some little bit of action on it. But what happens after 5 years of this? You're constantly, they see you as an authority out there helping people. This has possibly been helpful to you. You might have had more clarity about how to think about content, and maybe you've been able to relax about it and think, man, I can just be authentic, be myself, and share stuff with people that actually help them. And if they want more help, or if they want to maybe get it done faster or easier or in a better way, in a more efficient way, just like you wouldn't cut your lawn with scissors, you'd use a mower, right? I mean, you could cut it with scissors, but you could speed up the process if you invested in a system that could do it faster. So it's kind of like that, right? And you do the same thing with your people. That was kind of like what I just did there, was a subtle storytelling call to action. And those are really powerful to learn how to do. You just got to think in your mind, what am I trying to get them to do? Well, I'm trying to get them to solve their problems with me. I'm trying to help them because I can. And that's why you get out and share. And by doing things like this, they realize, wow, he's held my attention this whole time with his content. I like the way he's doing it. He's pretty authentic and real. I can tell, you can kind of tell if somebody's full of crap or not, But when they're able to do it to you and keep your attention and help you learn, and you end up going over to their website, like some people will watch this and they'll go to my website. It's at makeonce.com. And I've got a video over there that they might want to see. We create a lot of different content that we put out here. I was talking about how to do the email only bonus here. But, I teach all this stuff inside of my program. It's at Make Once, but I've got a video over there and I give you a breakdown of this map and I go over these funnels and stuff with you. You can go check it out. I bet it'll probably give you some ideas. We go over like different frameworks that we use when we're creating stuff, but this is more about the VSL video. Here's where we're really talking about the Iron Hot series, and I give them like all my emails and stuff. But this is how we help people, But anyhow, so let me get back to what we were doing. So with the fishing thing, okay, it's really like that. If you're not casting, if you're not putting the right bait out there, if they're not being relatable to them, they're just not going to see you. And you have to just share. Why are you doing the business anyway? It's to help somebody. So why don't you go do that? Just go out there and say, hey, I can help you. Watch. And then what are you going to do to hook their attention? Are you going to do something where you maybe, if I was trying to get the attention of firefighters, maybe I was going to sell them some new belt buckle that I made for firefighters. It was a problem we solved because it kept getting snagged on their gear or something. I don't know. I'm just making something up. I would put a fire truck on there, with a fire, get their attention, get them to stop. Maybe I flash that in the video, or I'm like, hey, are you a firefighter? And that buckle, it's just always getting caught, Well, listen, I want to share with you how we actually fix this thing. And a matter of fact, I'm going to give you 2 things you can do with your belt right now before you even get the buckle that'll help you just have a better, whatever. That's how you hook them and get them in. With the fishing, you go where they're at and you just bang, you flash, and there's like, and then you got to have a hook in it. If they bite it with no hook, So how we do it here is we get their email, because once we have their email, we can continue to educate them. And if they don't, it's like people come to they'll come to my page. They'll opt into like if you go to makeonce.com, you can see how I do it. They'll opt in, and if they don't like it, they can always go unsubscribe. But when you're sending them educational content similar to this, and you're sharing with them how you can actually solve their problem, just like you can do with your potential customers, you'll be so shocked what happens. It's amazing. It's like, and it's so rejection free, and you'll help who you can help. It's amazing. So, all right, listen, I'll finish up here. This is the helpful daily pattern to help you do better fishing for your customers, okay? So my advice is don't take yourself too serious with this, but and I say that because, I'm just talking to the camera right now. There's, nobody in here or anything like that. I'm just sitting in my office and, I'm looking out at the pond here and enjoying an energy drink, and whether they're right or wrong, I don't care, I mean, I do, but, I don't think they're that bad. Anyway, I'm just chilling and I'm trying to help. I'm thinking of my customer and I'm helping them. I'm just staring into the camera looking at you because you're the only person I'd be talking to. And that's kind of a hint for you. You're just talking to one person and you're helping them here. And you create one long form piece of content per day, like I'm doing right now. Try to make it less than 15 minutes. Throw it on YouTube. Share some call to actions throughout it. And then put a link to it in the description to your funnel. Like if you'll go down to my funnel, you'll see there's a link in my description where you can go get the free training and download that map where I give you how I do my email marketing and how I go live and just some things to help you get some customers coming to you without using ads, and kind of the program we use and what we teach people. It's very helpful, honestly. It's just there's like 8 videos in it. Anyway, you can do the same type of thing. Put something out there that they want, tell them about it, and then link down in the description to it. And then once they get onto your email list, this is where you get a chance to prove that you can help them. And that's typically where 70% of your money's going to come from, is down in your email, the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up, like Jim Rohn said, So you create that long-form piece of content, and you got a couple options. You can take that video, like I'll do with this one, and chop it up, and you can create, a lot of short pieces of content out of it, right? So that saves you time. It's like do one action, use it for multiple things. But then on a daily, you want to create 3 to 5, do as many as you can. There's no limit here. You can't do enough. But create 3 pieces of short form content, make it less than a minute. I put it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and Twitter. And then I do a funnel call to action where I get them to go to the funnel for something they want that's helpful for them. And that's where I send them. Then this is all happening in one day, by the way, every day. Just like Kobe Bryant, after practice, would stand at the free throw line and shoot 400 free throws before he went home every day. You know what I mean? And that's why we're talking about him. So if you want people to do that too, you need to put in the reps. So in the beginning, you're going to have to create lots of content, which you always should anyway, because if your content is real content, it's just helping people. So, I mean, the more help you can put out in the world, the more reciprocation you're going to get. And like Zig Ziglar. I actually got to see him before he passed away in Arizona. He was at the Glendale Arena. And I'll never forget, he's like, if you help everybody else get what they want, you don't have to worry about what it is you want because it'll be there. And it's just the same way here with content, right? And then go live each day. This is really great, especially in the beginning and at all times. And just try to go live on TikTok. They're really good, but you can do whatever you want. You got to get to 1,000 followers. And if you're posting content like this, you should get there pretty quick anyway. But go live for 1 to 2 hours. I've gone 3-4 hours because it's so good. Listen, you're out there with your people. You're out at the lake with the fish and you're mingling with them and you're watching how they move and seeing what they eat. And boy, it really helps you. You can hear how they talk about things, their message to you. Because if you go hang out with a bunch of people, kind of like if you went to Amazon and you looked at all the products that were like similar or maybe indirectly would be the same kind of customers you have that would be attracting them, you can go look at the reviews, the positive ones, the negative ones, the middle ones, and read about them and read what your customers actually saying about things, right? And I mean, that's the same thing at the beginning, like I talked about with the YouTube comments. It's so powerful because you're trying to help these people. Yeah, you need to understand them. How else are you going to help them? And so if you go live, number one, you can get a couple, $200, $300, $500 worth of leads. I mean, when I ran ads, I don't know about you, maybe you've ran ads too, but it's $10, $15, $30 sometimes to get a lead. If I can jump on a live for 1 to 2 hours and get 40, 50 leads, I mean, I'll let you do the math on that, but that's pretty sweet. And I'm getting an education and I'm able to work on my message, right? Which, because if people don't understand what it is that you do to help them and they can't figure out what you're even offering because you don't know how to communicate it, I mean, how on earth are they supposed to buy from you? You know what I mean? So I'll do this, and throughout those, I'll usually just try to start with one topic. Like I'll go over here to like my Build Lab, and I teach all kinds of stuff to my Build Lab members, right? And so I'll go over here, and maybe I'm like, let's get in. Maybe I'm going to show them how I do like like the cut up of the content. So I might start with something like this. And then while I'm talking about this and I'm showing them how we do everything and how we post and make, that way you can get this done in a few hours a day and you've got hundreds of dollars worth of new leads. You're getting attention. You're getting people educated about how you can help them and all that stuff. And so I would go through this. I would start that way. And then usually you'll get interrupted about, in a good way, you'll get interrupted and they'll be like, well, what questions, what about this? What about that? And then all of a sudden you're answering their questions and you're getting an incredible education while at the same time really helping them, like I was showing people how to create their perfect product roadmap. I was like telling them like what I do at I'm sitting here right now, actually. That's cool, huh? Inception. But anyway, you pick a topic like that, you go, and then people start asking you questions. And then before you know it, you're off and going. Well, and it's so good because you're learning what they want. So many people, they don't even know what their people really want. They think they do, but they don't, And if you go out there, they'll just tell you. And then you start recognizing patterns, right? And you're like, well, okay, well, everybody's talking about this way. And, okay. And that's how you get them there. That's how you get them to that place where you can actually help them. So you're answering questions and you're making constant funnel call to actions all throughout. When I'm doing, I'm like, man, you can go up here because maybe you can see the board back here. I always stand in front of the board going live, and I'll always point up to my website, and I've got a little board that's got the thing on it, my website domain, and I'll be like, free training over at makeonce.com. Download that map, and look at our business model and everything we do. And you just do that all throughout your live. You do the same thing, pointing to yours, right? And then we use this value train strategy to email our list every day. So when we create this long form piece up here, we just email it out to our list, but we don't just email it any old way. What we do is we put it in what we call a value train. Something I came up with, I don't know, I was just like, it just, in my brain, it linked up like train carts, bringing value to wherever it was going. So I just called it my value train strategy, or VTS, or whatever, the famous marketer with an acronym. But you just want it short sometime, right? Like VSL. It's easier than saying video sales letter, you know what I mean? But anyway, sorry about that. So you use the value train strategy and you email this out to your list, your daily long form, and then the value train done correctly, it's got a pause button, then it goes and like it launches the button after they're like hooked in, and then it sends them over to your sales page. And I can't tell you how something so simple like this has made us, so much money. And what it does is it removes distraction, and that's really the key. Okay. And it's clean. It shows up clean. You can show up in an old beater, or you can show up in a nice clean vehicle wearing a nice pressed collar or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a difference, but, and then just repeat this every single day. Now it's not easy, right? Just like working out and all that other stuff, but it's definitely worth it. And you need to focus on imperfect progress, because through imperfect progress, you progress to be more perfect. And you're always trying to, which you never can be, but it's in another way saying don't get stuck in perfection mode or thinking you got to be perfect. I mean, for crying out loud, look at me. I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just sitting at a desk with a light on me, and you kind of seen that picture. And I'm just trying to really help you. I'm just pulling from inside here. But anyway, if you like this, let me know. If you want more stuff like this, I kind of enjoyed making this for you. I know it's pretty simple, but sometimes simple's the way, most of the time. But you can do what I just did with your own people. I use this Miro program if you're curious what this thing is. But listen, I've got some information for you down in the description, obviously, which we've talked about, doing that yourself. Maybe you got to listen to this a few times. And just let me know in the comments. I'm here to help you. I want to make more stuff that'll help you. Just, if you want to jump on a live with me and talk to me, on live, I do that over at TikTok, every day. I've got some cool stuff for you. There's a free training and a blueprint down in the description. And another thing is, when you're putting out your long form, put the link down in the description, but then go down and be the first comment on your YouTube video, and then put a link in there. Ask them a question, which you should always do, because questions are the answer. And then at the end, put a little call to action in there and say, hey, if you're looking for help in this area, you can always go check out this free thing. And then also link there to your your funnel where you can generate a lead. That's you got to get the fish in the boat, So do that. You can see how I did it with this video, and then you can model what I'm doing and just talk about what you talk about, or maybe you can improve what I said here. But anyhow, appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be sure to see you in another one.